It started as a small interview, a moment most fans expected to be routine. But when Jimin began speaking about BTS's long-awaited comeback album, his tone shifted. He paused, smiled softly, and mentioned a name that made ARMY's hearts flutter. Jungkook. That one word changed the atmosphere instantly. In the interview released by HYB's official channel on November 6, 2025, Jimin was asked how it felt to return to the studio after military service. His answer wasn't about the pressure or fame. It was about connection. Recording again felt strange at first, Jimin admitted. But Jungkook was there almost every time I needed someone to listen. He gave honest feedback, and I trust his ear more than anyone's. To many, their friendship might seem like just another bandmate relationship, but for ARMY, Jimin and Jungkook, affectionately known as Jungkook, represent years of growth, resilience, and silent understanding. They began as the youngest members, unsure of themselves, and now they've become emotional pillars for each other. While Jungkook has been known as BTS's golden magne, his behind-the-scenes role often goes unnoticed. According to Jimin, Jungkook didn't just listen, he guided, he knows when to speak and when to stay quiet, Jimin shared. Sometimes he doesn't say much, but his reaction tells me everything. Fans could almost picture Jungkook in the studio, arms crossed, nodding to Jimin's vocals, smiling with pride. The mention of Jungkook helping Jimin brought back nostalgia. Fans recalled old Bangtan Bomb clips, moments from 2016 and 2017, where Jungkook stayed late to help Jimin practice harmonies or fix a pitch. Now, 8 years later, the same teamwork lives on, except this time, it's for a comeback that could redefine BTS's sound after military service. An insider close to the production reportedly revealed that Jungkook's input went beyond vocal advice. He helped Jimin experiment with layering techniques, something he perfected during his solo golden era. Jungkook wanted Jimin's voice to sound raw and emotional, the source said. He told the engineers to keep the breath in, not make it too clean. That's his signature touch. When asked if he wanted to dedicate the new song to anyone, Jimin paused for a moment and replied, "To those who stayed, and to Jungkook, because he believed in my voice when I didn't." The raw emotion behind those words left fans in tears. It wasn't just about music anymore, it was about brotherhood. Within hours of the interview release, hashtags like #JungkookInTheStudio and #JiminThanksJungkook began trending worldwide. Fans posted compilation videos of their past collaborations, captioned, "From We Don't Talk Anymore to the new BTS era, they never stopped creating magic together." ARMYs agreed on one thing. BTS's next album wouldn't just be a comeback, it would be a homecoming. Rumors are now swirling that the album will showcase a mix of R&B, acoustic pop, and emotional storytelling, a style Jimin and Jungkook are both known for. Producers hinted that at least one track features both of them on lead vocals. If true, this could mark their first official duet since debut. As the interview ended, Jimin smiled again. That soft, familiar smile fans know so well. We've all
grown.
But Jungkook reminds me of who I was when I first started singing. That's something I'll never forget. The camera faded out, but the message stayed. Behind the lights, behind the fame, and behind the music, there's still that quiet friendship that began in a small practice room over a decade ago. A week after Jimin's heartfelt interview, a staff member who worked at HYB's studio reportedly shared a small but powerful moment between Jimin and Jungkook. According to the insider, the two were recording in adjacent booths when Jungkook suddenly walked in, stopped Jimin mid-song, and whispered something quietly. The next take, Jimin's voice sounded completely different, deeper, fuller, more emotional. "That's it," Jungkook had said, smiling. "That's the Jimin everyone needs to hear again." It was one of those silent brotherhood moments that could never be scripted. Days later, a short behind-the-scenes video appeared briefly on HYB's internal server before being deleted. In it, Jungkook was seen sitting beside Jimin, nodding along to playback tracks and giving small gestures of approval. Fans who managed to screen record it described the energy as pure artistic chemistry. That single clip, less than 10 seconds long, racked up over 3 million reposts before disappearing completely. ARMYs called it the most meaningful 10 seconds of 2025. Jimin later confessed in another short interview that every time he sings now, he remembers Jungkook's advice. He told me once, "Don't sing for perfection, sing for truth." I think that changed the way I approach every song now. That one quote spread across fan communities like wildfire. Many printed it on banners, phone wallpapers, and fan art, turning it into a symbol of creative trust between the two. Interestingly, HYB has not commented publicly on the depth of Jimin and Jungkook's collaboration. No official behind-the-scenes videos, no press teasers. But this silence, as many fans believe, is intentional. Because when something is that powerful, you don't overpromote it. You let the art speak for itself. On November, Jungkook went live unexpectedly on Weverse. Fans flooded the chat asking if he'd watched Jimin's interview. He smiled, looked down for a moment, and said softly, "Yeah, I saw it." He didn't have to say that much, but that's Jimin for you. That one line made millions of ARMYs emotional. The mutual respect between them was so palpable, even in a few words. A few days later, one of the producers involved in the BTS comeback project gave a rare comment. When Jimin and Jungkook work together, you don't have to direct much. They communicate through glances, through rhythm. It's like watching two halves of one voice. This statement instantly went viral on K-media portals. Fans began to speculate that their teamwork could be central to the entire comeback's emotional soundscape. A leak from the Korea Music Copyright Association database listed an unreleased track titled "Promise You," with both Jimin Park and Jungkook credited as vocalists, though HYB didn't confirm it. Fans were convinced it's part of the new BTS album. The fandom collectively held its breath, waiting for confirmation, or maybe a teaser. Following this emotional wave, ARMYs began rewatching every past moment between Jimin and Jungkook, from practice room clips in 2013 to emotional concerts in 2022. They started a trend on X, Twitter, called #JakookThroughTheYears, which reached over 12 million tweets in a day. "We grew up with them," one fan wrote. And now they're growing again, together in a different way. On November 18th, a fan letter addressed to both Jimin and Jungkook went viral on Weverse. "You showed us that real brotherhood isn't loud, it's consistent. Thank you for being each other's strength when we can't be there." Jimin liked the post the next morning, and that simple action, one heart emoji, meant everything to millions. As November neared its end, ARMYs noticed one curious detail. Both Jimin and Jungkook stopped posting for several days. IT reminded fans of how BTS used to go quiet right before a big reveal. Some said it felt like the silence before a storm. Whatever's coming, whether it's a new album, a duet, or just a shared performance, one truth is clear. The trust between Jimin and Jungkook is not just artistic. It's spiritual, and in 2025, that bond is stronger than ever. The dimly lit studio room at HYB remains one of Jimin's favorite places, not because of its luxury, but because of the memories built within it. During the interview, Jimin softly smiled as he recalled one night when he couldn't get a vocal take right. Jungkook stayed behind after everyone had gone home, adjusting the mic and encouraging him to take one more try. "That's the take that made it to the final version," Jimin revealed. That moment became a reminder of how their bond fuels their creativity, not through perfection, but through trust.